What's going on, YouTube? It's Raise Hell Zell back again with another video for y'all. So today I want to go over the offensive rookie of the year battle that's been heating up this last few weeks between Jayden Daniels and Bo Nix. Obviously, I'm rooting for my guy Jayden Daniels, but I will say Bo Nix has been playing his ass off these last couple of weeks, and he has made the race a lot closer, in my opinion. But in this video, I'm gonna talk to you about who is currently still leading, or who is currently leading the Rookie of the Year race offensively, and who I think will win. I'm gonna go over some numbers for y'all, and I'm gonna let y'all know if it's justified to think that Bo Nix has played better than Jayden Daniels up to this point, or if he hasn't. So, first thing I want to say is I like Bo Nix. Bo Nix is a baller. I think he's in the right situation over there in Denver. I think he has the right coach. And I'm rooting for the kid, man. I hope he is there a long-term quarterback for the future, and he plays well, continue for the rest of his career. I like Bo Nix, man. He's a really good quarterback. I think he's a good leader of men. But obviously, you know what I'm saying, I'm rooting for my guy Jayden Daniels. But above all anything, I hope that we win games. We make it to the playoffs. We win at least a playoff game over him in the Rookie of the Year. If he wins Rookie of the Year, that's a plus. But I want to win games, man, as a fan. So I just wanted to put that out there. So let's hop right into it. Let's go over the stats, man. Let's go over the stats for Jayden Daniels so far this season. So, right now, Jayden Daniels' stats through 11 games, his average passer rating is a 99.6. He has 14 total touchdowns, 3 interceptions, over 2,300 yards. And he's played, like I said, he's played 11 games. Let's go ahead and look at Bo Nix. Compared to Bo Nix, what his stats look like. His quarterback rating is 89.3. So Jayden has him by 10 points on a quarterback rating. Bo Nix's completion percentage is a 65.5, and Jayden Daniels is a 68. So Jayden Daniels leading there on the completion percentage. Bo Nix passing yards is a 22.75. Jayden Daniels is a 23.38. So these are really close. These are really close numbers. Also, let me put this out there. Bo Nix has 18 total touchdowns compared to Jayden Daniels' total touchdowns of 14. So Bo Nix is leading the touchdowns, but he has twice as many interceptions. So these are really, really similar numbers, as you can see. But I'll still give the edge right now to Jayden Daniels, and I'm gonna put this out there because I think this has to be said. This has to be added into, just to understand the full picture. Jayden Daniels obviously didn't play that Panthers game, and all the rookies pretty much played the Panthers and got their fair share of, stat padding their numbers with touchdowns and yards. If Jayden Daniels had played that Panthers game, he probably would have 3-4 more touchdowns, 200 to 300 more yards passing, probably 50 yards rushing. So the numbers will look a little different if he played that game. So he essentially played one less game compared to Bo Nix, and he essentially is. His numbers are looking a little bit better than Bo Nix so far. But it is a really close race now that, Bo Nix has stepped it up the last couple of weeks, and Jayden Daniels has kind of simmered down playing two good teams in the Steelers and the Eagles these last couple of weeks. So I wanted to let that be known that, it is a close race, but ultimately Jayden Daniels is still in the lead, in my opinion. And I also want to go up against this what Bo Nix played against the Falcons. I mean, a lot of people, they say that, the Commanders haven't played anybody. Jayden Daniels hasn't really went up against a good team, and when he does, he loses, and he looks like a rookie. He's a rookie, and at the end of the day, these are NFL teams. So to say something like that, it's like, okay, you're talking about a rookie playing up against a bad team. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to put things into perspective here. Also, Bo Nix played against the Falcons. I mean, I will say the Falcons are a good team, but let's also put it into perspective that they're missing 8 players. They were missing 8 players on their defense last Sunday, and 5 of those 8 players on their defense were starters that were out. And I'm not taking anything away from Bo Nix. I just want to put things into perspective as what they are. I think that Jayden Daniels so far when he plays up against superior talent compared to Bo Nix, I think he has played way better. You can look at the Ravens game that Bo Nix played against, where they lost 42-10, and you look at how the Commanders lost 27-20 against that same team. He ultimately played way better against that team, in my opinion. Some other games and we're going to play the Falcons later on in the season, so we'll definitely get a bigger picture as to see that as to how that looked. And when you look at how Bo Nix has started, man, it was rough. It was rough. Some of these games you would never see from Jayden Daniels, in my opinion. Like he just wouldn't have it. When he played the Jets, he had a total of 60 yards. Like you would never see Jayden Daniels finish a game unless he finished injured and he didn't finish the game. You would never see him finish a full game with 60 yards passing. Like that's just not real. You're not going to get that from Jayden Daniels at all. His completion percentage was 48. Like that's just something you're not going to see. And also, you know, when Bo Nix played the Pittsburgh, he threw 2 picks and 0 touchdowns. He also had 246 yards, but he didn't score anything. And I think when you look at it from Jayden Daniels' perspective, he played a better game against that same opponent. So you gotta also weigh in how they looked against top tier opponents as well. And based off the Steelers and the Ravens, I think Jayden Daniels played better against the same top tier opponents. But I will admit, man, it's a close race. It is a close race in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions are rightfully so. Looking at the rest of the schedule that they're going to play, I'm going to have to pull it up, but I will probably take that Jayden Daniels will finish with Offensive Rookie of the Year just because the Commanders are playing a less inferior schedule, in my opinion, than the Broncos. So I feel like it's going to be more opportunity for the Commanders to get dubs. Like we're playing the Cowboys this Sunday. You know, they've been a shit show. The Saints have Derek Carr's back, but they're not having the season they want. But then we got the Falcons. We got the Titans on December 1st. So it's the Cowboys, the Titans, then the Saints, and then the Eagles, Falcons, and then the Cowboys again to finish off the season. The only team that I can see Jayden Daniels having maybe a bad game, not even a bad game, but going up against superior talent, and he might not look like himself is the Eagles game, and they're playing at home. So let's take a look at who the Broncos have to play, and this is just strictly foreshadowing. I'm just foreshadowing to see who has the better chance to come out of the season with the better numbers and to look like the Offensive Rookie of the Year. The Broncos are going up against the Raiders, also a pretty bad team. Then they got the Browns, pretty bad team. It'll be interesting to see how Bo Nix plays against the Browns defense, and you can kind of compare how Jayden Daniels played against the Browns defense. He pretty much played lights out. I don't think he played most of that fourth quarter. That's another point too. It's like 2 games this season. Jayden Daniels essentially didn't play any of the fourth quarters to pad his stats. Also, so and I also have to put this out there as well. There's about 5 to 7 passes that should have been passing touchdowns for Jayden Daniels, but the receivers either got stopped at the 1 or they dropped the touchdown pass. And this is no joke. This is literally no joke. You can go look it up. There should be at least 5 to 7 extra passing touchdowns on Jayden Daniels' schedule, and that's some real thing. That's some real shit to consider. Now, I will add this in. I don't know if Bo Nix has the same thing. I don't know if he had wide receivers dropping passes in the end zone and stuff like that, but I do know that about Jayden Daniels. So the numbers can sometimes be skewed, and you got to also look at in my opinion, when it comes to the Offensive Rookie of the Year, you kind of got to look at it like, okay, let's look at the eye test. Let's look at how these guys are playing for their team. Are they making the decisions for their team? And if you were to replace them with another player, will they be as effective? And I think Jayden Daniels means much more to his team than Bo Nix does, in my opinion. Bo Nix has a top 5 defense, in my opinion, and the Commanders strictly don't. I'm not trying to make any excuses or anything, but when you look at the Commanders, Jayden Daniels, if he doesn't play a good game, they lose. They're going to lose the game. Like, the Commanders are solely dependent on Jayden Daniels playing well to win football games. I don't know if you could say that about Bo Nix. I just don't know. I mean, I haven't watched Bo Nix in like as closely as I have Jayden Daniels. I'm just strictly going off the stats here. When they played the Jets and he threw for 60 yards, they still won that game 10-9. If this was Jayden Daniels and the Commanders and he throws for 60 yards, I don't think they win this game. And that's just me being honest here. Based off what I've seen from this Commanders team and based off what I know about that Denver Broncos defense, I don't think it's the same. So that's one of the things I wanted to point out. But I will say, man, Bo Nix has been balling out, man. He's been balling out these last few weeks. I got to give him his props. I'm not trying to take anything from Bo Nix. I just want to put both players into perspective as they are. Let's get back into the Denver Broncos schedule, man. Like I said, they got the Raiders, who aren't bad. They have a solid defense, but they're not a good team. He should really roll against them. The Browns, he should also roll against them. I mean, their defense is solid, but based off how the Commanders made them look, I think the Broncos should make them look like that as well. The Colts, they're like a middle of the pack team. It'll be interesting to see how they go against them. Chargers are a pretty good team. The Bengals, they still have a stout offense. I mean, they've been losing games, but they can easily lose against the Bengals, in my opinion, and they got the Chiefs. So obviously, I think the easier path for the rest of the six games is in Jayden Daniels' favor, in my opinion. But it's going to be an interesting battle, man. I want y'all to know that I'm not trying to make excuses for Jayden Daniels and none of that. If you would have asked me this 3 weeks ago, I would say Jayden Daniels is going to win a Rookie of the Year. And he's the clear front runner. I think he's still the front runner, even though these past couple of weeks haven't gone the way that the Commanders and the way that we wanted it to go. But Bo Nix is making a case, man. He's coming, and he has an opportunity to come in and swoop that award away. Will he do it? I don't think so. I think Jayden Daniels against inferior competition, as he's shown all season, that he will come out and perform in a dominant fashion against bad teams. And I think Bo Nix will still play well, but he's going up against tougher competition, in my opinion, over these last 6 games compared to the Commanders. So it'll be interesting to see, man. It'll also be interesting to see how Jayden Daniels performs, man, after these 2 tough losses against the Steelers and the Eagles. Is his rib still bothering him? Is Cliff Kingsbury calling a different game because he's scared to get his quarterback might get hurt a little bit more? It'll be interesting to see how we bounce back after these 2 losses, man. And it'll be also interesting to see there's a kind of a case put out on Cliff Kingsbury about the second half of the seasons he coaches in. First half looks good, and you can look back to his time in college when he was coaching Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech, and when he was with the Cardinals. The second half of the season doesn't look as good or as efficient as the first half of the season, and hopefully this isn't what's going on right now with the Commanders. I would hate that would be the issue here. Hopefully we can bounce back from these 2 losses. Hopefully is what I'm thinking, is that it's a mixture of why these 2 losses occurred. It's a mixture between we playing tougher competition, tougher defense. Two top probably 7. Pittsburgh Steelers and the Eagles are probably top 7 defenses in the league right now, if not 5. Top 5 defenses in the league. Mixed with his rib injury. I mean, I don't think it's hindering him physically. I think it's more of a mental on him and also a mental on Cliff Kingsbury and that coaching staff. It's a little bit of, they don't want him to get hurt. And they're kind of, I don't want to say babying it, but it's affecting their play calling to where, they're keeping it on the safer side of him re-injuring that rib. And then also on Jayden's mental side, I think he's not settling in. He might be overthinking things because of that trickle-down effect of how the coaches are treating his ribs. He wants to go out and play. That's also mentally affected him as well, in my opinion. And that's why if you look at that Eagles game, he wasn't decisive enough in some of them throws. I mean, if you look back at who was open. If you look at the all 22, he had guys who were open in his progressions. He just was missing them. He was either, I don't know if he was overthinking it. I don't know if he didn't trust that his receiver would catch it, even because they did drop some balls these last couple of weeks. But I don't know. But hopefully this 10 days that we got will remedy some of those things, and he can get back in the lab and start looking like Jayden of old, or Jayden that he's been looking like to start the first 10 weeks of the season. So yeah, man, that's all I had to talk about with y'all, man. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know, man. Let me know what's going on. If y'all think that Jayden Daniels is still the front runner, and if you think he's going to continue to be the front runner and ultimately win the Offensive Rookie of the Year, or do you think Bo Nix is going to come in and take it away? Either way, these are two great rookie quarterbacks, man. This is a sneaky quarterback draft this year, man. Even Drake May is looking okay over there. Hopefully Caleb Williams can turn it around. I want them all. I want to see them all win. I want to see them all look good. Just not betting the Jayden, of course. But yeah, man. Like I said, like, subscribe, comment, turn the notification button on, and y'all have a good one, man. Peace out.